why this is so significant and outrageous, okay? So Mike McCarthy's contract with the Cowboys expires today, but the team holds exclusive negotiating rights with him through next week. On Monday, Shefty told us the Bears had sought permission to speak with McCarthy about their vacancy. I want to take you back to Sunday, following the team's season finale, when Jerry Jones very clearly said this.
Then I would say, go talk. I really would. Go talk.
So it sounds like
I just let Zeke do that.
Gotcha.
I don't want anybody here. That's not healthy to have somebody around that wants to be someplace else. Really, it's not.
Okay, so he said that very clearly.
Yeah.
If you want to, it's not healthy.
Go talk, not
Go
healthy.
talk. So that made.
He's like, I ain't scared. Go have
Your
the
Jerry Jones
conversations.
impression is very impressive, by the way.
It's really not. But that what made yesterday so outrageous when Adam Schefter tweeted this. ESPN sources tell us that the Dallas Cowboys
Don't go talk.
Don't talk.
Don't talk, Greeny.
Don't talk.
denied
Not loud
permission
talk.
to the Bears to interview their head coach, Mike McCarthy. This stopped being funny yesterday, right? Like, this is just what they're doing to him now is just flat wrong.
Dirty. And we talked about it yesterday being dirty. You have known this season was going to end this way since Dak got hurt. Whatever you thought, you knew the season was what it was. You've had this much time to evaluate the head coach of your organization who's been there 5 years. And you need an extra week to not let him go talk to some after you tell him, go talk. Go talk. No, don't go talk. You have an extra. This is absurdity beyond belief. What Jerry has done now, and again, it's the same circus that gets created, whether it's Dak's contract going to the final day, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, whatever it is, the reason this organization stays where it stays is because of this. Because when the head of the organization acts this way, everybody else follows suit. It becomes about brand instead of about business. You can't win this way.
I mean, this means that they're resigning him, right? That's the.
Whoa. Whoa. See what you're doing there? You're using something called logic. Yeah, Jerry
Not
Jones.
applicable
Jerry
here.
Jones. I mean, nothing that he's done has been consistent. There's no continuity through these decisions because yesterday he said talk, today he said don't talk. He won't offer him a contract. And the reason why no coach is like, look around the history of the league. There's been very few coaches that have ever been allowed to coach out the last year of their contract. In part because you want them to feel strong and like they're going to be there and the players to follow them, but also you don't want them to hold you hostage at the end of the season over a contract renegotiation. Like Jerry's mishandled this whole situation.
Again.
I mean, every time.
So the issue with it for me is to your point about the CeeDee Lamb going into the season, which hurt a big portion of your season and why you're in the situation you're in.
Absolutely.
The Dak Prescott, like fans having to question, is this the quarterback we need? Because if you're not excited about the decision,
That's right.
how does anybody else rally about that? And for McCarthy, it's the same thing. If you look like you're getting backed into decisions, which is what it looks like.
Yes.
It doesn't look like strong negotiating tactics. It doesn't look like you trying to gain leverage or prove a contract. It looks like you're unsure.
That's exactly
and for
right.
fans and people in the organization, that's hard to get excited about.
Kmart, get in here.
I got nothing. You know why? Because what we're all saying is that nothing Jerry does is consistent. And what I found even funnier listening to Jerry's presser was he said, I'll follow in terms of McCarthy, I'll follow the same kind of time frame that I've done in the past. And then he says, but I can tell you the past is not necessarily consistent in terms of a time frame. What?
Double talk.
What? And here's the thing. It's almost like Jerry is, unfortunately, I hate to do the relationship thing. Jerry is that person who is not sure about you, but doesn't want to see you with somebody else. I mean, I don't know what that's like personally, but I can tell you, it sounds like it sucks, you know? And that's the unfortunate thing because you want to know as a head coach that you are wanted in this building and that the organization believes you can turn this thing around.
You create individuals in your locker room because of that, right? Because it's going to be whoever Jerry's favorite is of the moment. And the problem is that when you're the owner and the GM, if you heard a GM talking like this, the GM would lose his job because the owner's like, we can't follow the pattern of behavior that you're exemplifying. But it's the owner / GM that continues to hurt his. Even talking about the Derrick Henry not signing that, I'm surprised our team's not as good as. No one else in the world is there. How can you be surprised if you're putting the roster together?
And lest anyone should be wondering, well, they have an exclusive negotiating window with him till next week. What's wrong with him, just taking advantage of something that they've negotiated? This is not a business like any other. There are 32 of these jobs.
That's right.
There is a clear, unspoken understanding that if you're not hiring someone or if you're not giving them the job, you allow them the opportunity to go out and
Because
seek
interviews
this.
are happening.
And the timing of it is exactly right. It is critical.
Interviews are literally
every day that goes by damages his chance of getting the Chicago job, the New Orleans job, whatever job, if he doesn't have this job in Dallas. What Jerry Jones is doing here is just flat wrong.
And to prepare for these interviews.
That's exactly right.
The amount of preparation you need going in, you don't just walk in the door like, hey, I'm Mike McCarthy. You need to research that team, that organization, that roster, see create a vision for this new organization that tells them, okay, this is the guy we can now entrust to steer us in the right direction. And he's in limbo.
And I'm going to give him, even if we give him the benefit of the doubt of saying, hey, you want to retain McCarthy and you don't want him to go to Chicago, like we talked about earlier, it doesn't come across that way.
Right.
It looks like the fact that Chicago was interested forced you into being like, oh, I don't want to lose this guy, which again, lacks confidence in your decision making. You don't have a real strategy. That's what it looks like on the surface.
Give up. Like, there's trade-offs in everything in life. And, like, if you're going to fly on a private jet and own a football team and be a super billionaire, there's some things that you kind of have to give up. And one of those is the ability, I think, to be this outspoken, off-the-cuff, chitty-chatty type of guy. Like, you don't get to be that. That's fine. Give me your private jet. I'll get off TV, and I'll never speak again. That's all good.
I'm with you. I'll do it too.
Yeah, Jeff, come with me.
I'm with you.
But, like, when you do that, what you have to understand is when you're leading this team, there's some privileges that you give up. You gain a lot more privileges, but we've seen it over the last couple of days. A lot of these guys don't seem to want to give up those specific freedoms, and it's hurting their team.
Well, no, look, like, one owner after another has come out and said things that just are so awkward and ridiculous this week. But forgetting that, there's always been sort of a benign, humorous element to the things that Jerry Jones has done. And if he was hurting anyone, he was generally only hurting himself.
Right.
In this case, this is, it's bordering on mean-spirited. Like, there's something about this that feels completely wrong.
It's just a consistent theme. We talk about the Dak and sort of Dak in limbo and what's happening. Then we wait till week 1 of the season for him and CD to get signed. And Jerry has said, I'm all in. And now when he's asked questions about, do you regret saying you were all in? He's like, oh, giving Dak all that money isn't all in enough for you? Like, he's defiant.
Absolutely.
And what you wanted to see from Jerry after this season is some perspective, some growth.
That's exactly
like, I understand how I am, handcuffing my team because of how I don't spend and when I choose to spend, but instead it's more of a defiance.
So we all acknowledge that he didn't build the roster that was going to be successful this year. And then he holds the coaches and players accountable for not having success without building that roster.
Right.
And then you follow it up by using what you've negotiated in the contract in order to limit Mike McCarthy's ability to go elsewhere.
Exactly.
Like that. I think that's the point that Greeny keeps coming back to, that this doesn't even seem to make any bit of sense other than to hurt Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
Like, if you want me, sign me. If you don't want me, let me go somewhere else. And it's just like, nah, sit there.
And then
Sit there.
That's right.
And then when all the jobs are closed up, he's gonna be like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I would expect
the mean-spirited part that you're talking about, though, even with the radio that he did, this has become common for Jerry, which we have never seen. I mean, I've dealt with Jerry. We've dealt with him in negotiation. He has always been. We had a great relationship with him. I think he was legitimate when what he said. He did all of those things. This year, I don't know if it's because of the losing, but it has felt mean-spirited. And even in that interview, you saw the countenance on his face change. This wasn't like the joking around in jest kind of thing. This was it's not healthy. But what he's doing isn't healthy. That's you're in a position of power. What you're doing is unhealthy because what you're doing to Mike McCarthy. That's the part. Yeah. And now we got to be up here and defend Mike McCarthy, which just ain't my thing.
That's the worst part.
Like, dang.
Well, it's like, it's in the contract, but just because it's legal doesn't make it right. And I think that's the conversation.
The contract thing, come on.
Now, the Cooper Rush thing on Sunday.
Oh, yes. That was the other thing, yes.
Threatened to fire the
radio host. This is
took Cooper Rush money.
It's beneath a person of his stature, and he's a person for whom I have extraordinary respect and affection. I've met him. He is a charming person.
For sure.
All of this is not in keeping, I don't think, with a person that that we think that we have enjoyed watching all these years, and I hope they do something different here.